This is Creepy with Coffee.
Today's story is titled Unexpected Visitor, posted by Arc91. This happened back when I was 12 years old in my hometown in Malaysia. It was school holidays. My parents has decided our family will be staying at our grandparents' house for a week. My grandparents' house is located 40 minutes away from the city. It is built in a small town in a rural suburb, consists of 3 other neighbors living close by. The nearest town from the house is another 10 minutes drive out from the dense tropical environment, which also means the entire suburb will be pitch black after the sunset between 5:30 to 6 p.m. The best thing about this time of the hour is the quietness and the peacefulness of the atmosphere, combined with a faint cricket sound in the background while I get myself lost gazing at the skies surrounding the full moon. Now, let me give you a context of my grandparents' house. There are 4 rooms: the maid's room, grandparents' room, great-grandma's room, and my parents' room. My great-grandma was 97 at the time, so she moved to a city with my uncle who had 3 maids to take care of her. This means the room is empty, and my younger brother Andy will be staying with me in her room since we don't want to share a room with our parents. Everything went well until our second last day. My parents were away attending a friend's wedding in the city, therefore they won't be coming home because they also kind of knew that they're gonna have a lot of alcohol from the celebration. Moving on, it was already 9:30 p.m. My grandparents and the maid had already gone to bed. Only Andy and myself were chilling in the living room. He was playing his Game Boy Color in front of the TV while I'm reading comics at the very back of the room with the window slightly open to enjoy the cool breeze. All of a sudden, I could feel a distinct change in motion of the breeze. It is no longer the same cool inward flow, but rather like a very cold hand gently brushing up and down my neck to the top of my head. My entire body instantly reacted with goosebumps, and it's those kind of goosebumps you know something isn't right. I tried to play it cool and not freaked out, pretended not to notice anything for another 5 minutes or so. Because I remember my dad once told me, if you show your fear, it will notice and continue to bother you. The brushing continued as I endured, and trust me, that was the longest 5 minutes of my life. After 5 minutes, I slowly stood up, didn't turn my back to look behind, shook off my goosebumps and said, "Andy, it's bedtime. Let's go?" He instantly agreed, not because he noticed what I had noticed, but he was always afraid to be alone downstairs. We went upstairs, brushed our teeth, and then we head inside our bedroom, lights out. Then we fall asleep. But then soon after, I remember waking up suddenly from my sleep, feeling wide awake for no apparent reason. I could not see very well as it was still dark, so I assume it's around 3 in the morning. While trying to go back to sleep, I heard a very faint meowing in the room. I could instantly tell the difference is not from a cat, but a man made from a female. Confused, I quickly turned to Andy to find him facing me, sound asleep. The meowing gradually grew louder and louder, and its tone became much sinister. Until it was next to my ear. My mind remained calm, however my eyes began tearing up and my entire body was shaking in absolute horror which I no longer have control over, as if I was completely paralyzed. Minutes felt like hours until my body has finally calmed down and the feeling of dread and horror slowly lingered away. I could feel an eternal calm in the room. However, I couldn't bring myself back to sleep after what happened. To feel safe, I sat upright and positioned my back against the corner of the wall while watching Andy sleeping peacefully until daybreak. When first light entered the room, I immediately woke Andy up to get him out of the room with me. Although I received a couple of grouchy punches and kicks, it was worth it as I don't feel safe for him to be there alone. Didn't want to worry the whole family while seeking for an answer. I approached my maid and told her no matter what, do not share with anyone what I'm about to tell my maid. Feeling excited, she actually hurried her promise and I told her what happened. My maid's expression immediately turned sour and hesitated to explain. However, I begged and begged her because I really need the closure. Eventually, she caved and appeared regretfully for telling me that whatever that disturbed us last night was actually the Pontianak, a female vampiring ghost in Malay mythology who they prey on men. They usually arises at full moon and announces her presence through high-pitched cries. I almost fainted right after hearing it. To this day, I still get goosebumps every time I retell this horrific experience.